Hi, everyone. Welcome to God's Got This World. We're going to attempt to get a fire going. So I haven't done for many a year. So this ought to be interesting. Got axe, got wood, and let's see if we can do some kindling. Okay. Make a little teepee here. Hopefully that works. Okay, let's give her a go. No, you can't really see because this has a rail around it. Oh, that's nice and warm. Ah, it's nice and warm. A little bit more paper. Just make sure it doesn't go out. That went in my eyes. Okay. Okay. All right. Got some fire going. Nice. Okay, that's start burning good. Oh, a little bit more. There we go. There we go. That smoke is coming right over this way. Okay. Okay. Beautiful day. I was thinking the last week or so about one of the books in the Bible, Job, and who Job was and what happened to him. And I think I need a bit more paper in there. The fire just doesn't want to go today. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's probably my campfire skills aren't up to. Oh no! There we go. Okay. It's trying really hard to burn. There we go. Okay. Even got my handy dandy wiener stick. There we go. Yes! Success! We have fire. We have fire. Ah, that's so nice. Lovely. I'm going to put one more piece on. Perfect. Ah, this is a life. So the last week I've been dealing with not feeling too well and some relative problems, dealing with an aging mother, etc., etc. It's been a little, I'll be honest, it's been a little bit difficult. And I often wonder, God, why is this happening? Why am I going through this? Oh, just gonna move that smoke's coming out roundabout the wrong way. Oh. Getting smoked out there for a minute. Why are these things happening in my life? What is the problem? Why am I going through these things? I think I need a bit more paper. Sorry, pretty smoky. I know that I'm not alone going through things. And probably you are going through something also. It's really hard to deal with some days. So I'll tell you a story about a man named Job. And we're going to read right from the Bible about Job. Now, there was a man named Job, and he lived in the land of Uz. He was a truly good person who respected God and refused to do evil. And Job had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 pair of oxen, 500 donkeys, and a large number of servants. In fact, he was the richest person in the land. Very wealthy man. Job's son took turns having feasts in their homes, and they always invited their 3 sisters to join in eating and drinking. And after each feast, Job would send for his children and perform a ceremony as a way of asking God to forgive them of any wrongs they may have done. He would get up early the next morning and offer a sacrifice for each of them, just in case they had sinned or silently cursed God. What an amazing father. Amazing father. Righteous, good, wealthy man. Well, one day when the angels had gathered around the Lord, Satan was there with them, and the Lord asked Satan, "Where have you been?" Satan replied, "I have been going all over the earth." And then the Lord asked, "What do you think of my servant Job? No one on earth is like him. He's a truly good person who respects me and refuses to do evil." "Well, why shouldn't he respect you?" Satan said. "You are like a wall protecting not only him, but his entire family and all his property. You make him successful in whatever he does, and his flocks and his herds are everywhere. Well, try taking away everything he owns, and he will curse you to your face." The Lord replied, "All right, Satan, do what you want with anything that belongs to him, but don't harm him." That smoke's coming this way. But don't harm him. In other words, don't kill him. Hang on a minute here. Some more wood on the fire. There we go. There we go. Just don't kill him. Then Satan left. So while Job's sons and daughters were having a feast in the home, someone rushed up to one of the servants up to Job and said, "Your servants were plowing with the oxen, and your donkeys were nearby eating grass. And a gang of Sabaeans attacked and stole the oxen and the donkeys. Your other servants were killed, and I was the only one who escaped to tell you." And when that servant was still speaking, a second one came running up and saying, "God sent down a fire that killed your sheep and your servants. I am the only one left to tell you," the only one who had escaped. Well, that servant was still speaking. A fourth one dashed up. Sorry, a third one. "Three gangs of Chaldeans attacked and stole your camels, and all your servants were killed, and I'm the only one left escaped to tell you." And then that servant was still speaking, and a fourth one dashed up and said, "Your children were having a feast and drinking wine in the home of your oldest son, when suddenly a windstorm from the desert blew the house down, crushing all your children, and I am the only one who escaped to tell you." Well, when Job heard this, he tore his clothes and shaved his head because of his great sorrow. And he knelt on the ground, and then he worshiped God, and he said, "We bring nothing at birth. We take nothing with us at death. The Lord alone gives and takes. Praise the name of the Lord." And in spite of everything, Job did not sin or accuse God of doing wrong. So here was a man who had great wealth, lots of children, lots of cattle and sheep and goats, and probably a beautiful house, everything you could want in life. And then suddenly, everything changed for him. Everything changed. Everything was taken from him, all his wealth, and his children were killed. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that would probably be the end. I don't know how I could handle losing all my wealth and all my children, and my children especially, how I would deal with that. So that is the question. How do we deal with these things, adversities, challenges that come in our life? How do we deal with them? What do we do? Job was an amazing man, very strong man. And then the angels came around God again. And God asked him, Satan, where have you been? And Satan said, I've been going up and down all over the earth. And then the Lord asked, what do you think of my servant Job? No one on earth is like him. He is a truly good person who respects me and refuses to do evil. And he hasn't changed, even though you persuaded me to destroy him for no reason. Satan answered, there's no pain like your own. People will do anything to stay alive. They try striking Job's own body with pain, and he will curse you to your face. All right, the Lord replied, make Job suffer as much as you want, but just don't kill him. So Satan left and caused painful sores to break out all over Job's body, from head to toe. Then Job sat on the ash heap to show his sorrow, and while he was scraping his sores with a broken piece of pottery, his wife asked, why do you still trust God? Why don't you curse him and die? Job replied, don't talk like a fool. If we accept blessings from God, we must accept trouble as well. In all that happened, Job never once said anything against God. Now his wife, his very wife, has told him to curse God. And now he's covered head to toe in sores. I don't know about you, but I'd probably be an ash heap on the floor, hiding under the covers and praying to God every second, every breath. Fire is so mesmerizing to look at, isn't it? It's beautiful. But I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little bit hungry. So let's get the wieners on and let's see if we can get some water on for tea. And then we'll carry on after. Got a couple of weenies here. Gonna get them on the sticks. No, maybe one at a time. Let's see if we can get that in there. There we go. Let's see if we can. I find in my own life sometimes I feel like Job, strong, capable, can handle any adversity. And then in the next minute, it's like, nope, can't handle this. It's too much. God, take it away. Why are you doing this to me? And I think sometimes we don't get the answers that we're looking for. And all we have left to do is just to pray and ask God to help us get through it. He's just about done. Let's see if I can get this water on. Could put the water on there if all else fails, but pot, got my water. On we go. Oh, hope I don't lose my wiener in the fire. Done that before. So, what do you do when you have these times? Do you turn to the Lord, or do you turn to other people for help, or both? And in these times that we live in now, and I believe they are the end days, we're going to go through a lot more. And I believe too, it's for cleansing us and bringing us closer to the Lord and getting the sin literally out of us so that we do turn to Him, so that we do rely on Him. My wiener's just about done. And it's pretty much charred, just how I like it. Yeah. Let's get my bun. There we go. And the only thing I like on my hot dog is mustard. Sometimes ketchup, but mostly just mustard. Oh, that's how we like this. No frills. Well, Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for bringing me here safely. And thank you for the wonderful people that are around. And may your word go out into the world and give it meaning. You said your word is sharper than a two-edged sword. It cuts through the bone like marrow, soft. So I thank you today for this food, Lord. Oh, and also thank you for the new president of the United States, Donald Trump. Amen. Let's dig in. Mmm. That's good. Mm-hmm. Water is ready. I don't have a table with me, but this will do. Ah. Mm-mm-mm. Fire is a beautiful thing. Oh, that was good. I think I'm just having the one we need today. So let's get back, read a little bit more about what Job went through. Now, Job had three friends: Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. And they all heard about the troubles that Job was having. So they agreed to visit Job and comfort him. And when they came near enough to see Job, they could hardly recognize him. And in their great sorrow, they tore their clothes, and then they sprinkled dust on their heads, and they cried bitterly. For 7 days and 7 nights, they sat silently on the ground beside him because they realized what terrible pain he was in. That's the kind of friends you want to have. Some that will just come sit and not say a word. But finally, Job had had enough, and he cursed the day of his birth, and he said to God, "Blot out the day of my birth and the night when my parents created a sun. Forget about that day, cover it with darkness, and send thick, gloomy shadows to fill it with dread. Erase that night from the calendar and conceal it with darkness, and don't let children be created or joyful sounds be heard ever again in that night. Let those with magic powers place a curse on that day, darken its morning stars, and remove all hope of light, because it let me be born into a world of trouble. Why didn't I die at birth? Why was I accepted and allowed to nurse at my mother's breasts? Now I would be at peace in the silent world below, with kings and their advisers whose palaces lie in ruins, and with rulers once rich with silver and gold. I wish I had been born dead and then buried, never to see the light of day. And in the world of the dead, the wicked and the weary rest without a worry. Everyone is there, where captives and slaves are free at last." Why does God let me live when life is miserable and so bitter? And haven't we all said that? Why does God let me live when my life is just not worth living? It's miserable. I keep longing for death more than I would seek a valuable treasure, and nothing could make me happier than to be in the grave. Why do I go on living when God has me surrounded and I can't see the road? Moaning and groaning are my food and my drink, and my worst fears have all come true. I have no peace or rest, only troubles and worries. Eliphaz from Teman said, "Please be patient, Job, and listen to what I have to say. Remember how your words have guided and encouraged many in need. But now that you feel discouraged when struck by trouble, you respect God and live right, so don't lose hope. In my experience, only those who plant seeds of evil harvest trouble, and then they are swept away by the angry breath of God. They may roar and growl like powerful lions, but when God breaks their teeth, they starve and their children are scattered." Eliphaz continued to Job and he said, "A secret was told to me in a faint whisper. I was overcome by sleep, but disturbed by dreams. I trembled with fear, and all my hair stood on end as a wind blew past my face. And it stopped and it stood still, and then a form appeared, a shapeless form. And from the silence I heard a voice say, 'No humans are innocent in the eyes of God, their creator. He finds fault with his servants and even with his angels. Humans are formed from clay and are fragile as moss. So what chance do you have?' Hmm. Born after daybreak, you die before nightfall and disappear forever. Your tent pegs are pulled up, and you leave this life having gained no wisdom. Wow. Okay, I'm going to back up a bit. The fire is getting hot, a little bit warm. That's okay. What could you say to someone who gave you those words? How could you reply to that? Now his friend continues. Job, call out for help and see if an angel comes. Envy and jealousy will kill a stupid fool. I have seen fools take root, but God sends a curse suddenly uprooting them and leaving their children helpless in court. Then hungry and greedy people gobble down their crops and grab up their wealth. Our suffering isn't caused by the failure of crops. It's all part of life, like sparks shooting skyward. Job, if I were you, I would ask God for help. His miracles are marvelous, more than we can count. And God sends showers on earth and waters the fields. He protects the sorrowful and lifts up those who have been disgraced. God swiftly traps the wicked in their own evil schemes, and their wisdom fails. Darkness is their only companion, hiding their path by noon. God rescues the needy from the words of the wicked and the fist of the mighty. The poor are filled with hope, and injustice is silence. Consider yourself fortunate, Job. If God all-powerful chooses to correct you, he may cause injury and pain, but he will bandage and heal your cuts and bruises. God will protect you from harm, no matter how often trouble may strike. In times of war and famine, God will keep you safe. You will be sheltered without fear of hurtful words or any other weapon. You will laugh at the threat of destruction and famine, and you won't be afraid of wild animals. They will no longer be fierce, and your rocky fields will become friendly. Your home will be secure, and your sheep will be safe. You will have more descendants than there are blades of grass on the face of the earth, and you will live a long life, Job. And your body will be strong until the day you die. Our experience has proven these things to be true, so listen and learn. Now Job replies to Eliphaz, it's impossible to weigh my misery and grief. They outweigh the sand along the beach, and that's why I've spoken without thinking first. Even if I were innocent, God would prove me wrong. Helicopter. I am not guilty, but I no longer care what happens to me. What difference does it make? God destroys the innocent along with the guilty. When a good person dies, a sudden death, God sits back and laughs? And who else but God blindfolds the judges, then lets the wicked take over the earth? My life is speeding by, Eliphaz, without a hope of happiness, and each day passes swifter than a sailing ship or an eagle swooping down. Sometimes I try to be cheerful and to stop complaining, but my sufferings frighten me. I think about this in my own life too, to stop complaining and try to stay cheerful, but I can't always do that. I think most of the time it comes out as complaints. So what's the use of trying to prove my innocence? Even if I wash myself with the strongest soap, God would throw me into a pit of stinking slime, leaving me disgusting to my clothes. God isn't a mere human like me. I can't put him on trial. Who could possibly judge between the two of us? Can someone snatch away the stick God carries to frighten me? Then I could speak up without fear of him, but for now I cannot speak. And have you ever felt that way? You had so much grief and pain in your life that you could no longer speak, that you would just sit in silence. I know I have plenty of times. I didn't have answers for what I was going through. And sometimes you think about, oh, if I could just take my life and end my life, it would be easier, it would be over. But please don't do that. God doesn't want us to murder, whether it's someone else or ourselves. And if you're feeling that way, please call someone for help. I know there's suicide hotlines. Call a friend, a relative, whoever will give you comfort. Job had his 3 friends here. But now the tides are changing a little bit, and we'll see that coming up. Mm, that tea is good. Let's throw a little bit more wood on the fire. I hope you can see this fire. There is that rail there. One piece left. Oh, that's wonderful. Beautiful. Job complains to God, I am sick of life, God. And from my deep despair, I complain to you, my God. Don't just condemn me. Point out my sin. Why do you take such delight in destroying those you created and in smiling on sinners? Do you look at things the way we humans do? Is your life as short as ours? Is that why you are so quick to find fault with me? You know I am innocent, but who can defend me against you? Will you now destroy someone you created? Remember that you molded me like a piece of clay, so don't turn me back into dust once again. As cheese is made from milk, you created my body from a tiny drop. Then you tied my bones together with muscles and covered them with flesh and skin. You, the source of my life, showered me with kindness and watched over me. You have not explained all of your mysteries, but you catch and punish me each time I sin. Guilty or innocent, I am condemned and ashamed because of my troubles. No matter how hard I try, you keep hunting me down with like a powerful lion. You never stop accusing me, and you become furious and attack me over and over again. My goodness. Why did you let me be born, God? I would rather have died before birth and been carried to the grave without ever breathing. I have only a few days left. Why don't you leave me alone? Let me find some relief before I travel to the land of darkness and despair, the place of no return. And it sounds like Job is in quite a bit of despair there. Oh, I have to use my weenie stick here. So the second of Job's friends, Zophar, decides to talk. And he says, so much foolish talk cannot go unanswered. Your words have silenced others and made them ashamed. Now it's only right for you to be put to shame. You claim to be innocent and argue that your beliefs are acceptable to God. But I wish he would speak and let you know that wisdom has many different sides. You would then discover that God has punished you less than you deserve. Oh, can you understand the mysteries surrounding God all powerful? They are higher than the heavens and deeper than the grave. So, what can you do when you know so little and these mysteries outreach the earth and the ocean? If God puts you in prison or drags you to court, what can you do? God has the wisdom to know when someone is worthless and sinful, but it's easier to tame a wild donkey than to make a fool wise. Surrender your heart to God, turn to Him in prayer, and give up your sins, even those you do in secret. Then you won't be ashamed, you will be confident and fearless. Your troubles will go away like water beneath a bridge, and your darkest night will be brighter than noon, and you will rest safe and secure, filled with hope and emptied of worry. You will sleep without fear and be greatly respected. But those who are evil will go blind and lose their way. Their only escape is death. Now Job replies to his friend Zophar, you think you are so great with all the answers. But I know as much as you do, and so does everyone else. I've always lived right, and God answered my prayers, and now my friends make fun of me. It's easy to condemn those who are suffering when you have no troubles. Robbers and other godless people live safely at home and say, God is in our hands. If you want to learn, then go and ask. Flowers, the fish, the wild animals, and the birds, and any one of them can tell you what the Lord has done. Every living creature is in the hands of God. And those are wise words. Every living creature is in the hands of God. God has the control here, not us, the Lord. We hear with our ears and we taste with our tongues and gain some wisdom from those who have lived a long time. But God is the real source of wisdom and strength, and no one can rebuild what he destroys or release those he has imprisoned. God can hold back the rain or he can send a flood, just as he rules over liars and those they lie to. God destroys counselors, turns judges into fools, and makes slaves of kings. God removes priests and others who have great power. He confuses the wise, experienced advisors, and he puts mighty kings to shame and takes away their power. God turns darkness to light, and he makes nations strong, then shatters their strength. And God strikes their rulers senseless and then leaves them to roam through barren deserts, lost in the dark, staggering like someone drunk. God's great power, a ruler of everything that breathes. Sometimes we think we're here alone and that we have to do everything in our own power, but we can't. We are just clay and he is the potter. He is the creator of everything. And it's him that you need to turn to for strength and guidance and to help you out of these difficulties. Job continues, I know and I understand every bit of this. None of you are smarter than I am. There's nothing you know that I don't, but I prefer to argue my case with God all-powerful. You are merely useless doctors who treat me with lies. The wisest thing you can do is to keep quiet and listen to my argument. Are you telling lies for God and not telling the whole truth when you argue his case? If he took you to court, could you fool him just as you fool others? If you were secretly unfair, he would correct you, and his glorious splendor would make you terrified. Your wisdom and arguments are as delicate as dust. Be quiet while I speak. Then say what you will. I will be responsible for what happens to me. God may kill me, but still I will trust him and offer my defense, and this may be what saves me, because no guilty person would come to his court. Listen carefully to my words. I have prepared my case well, and I am certain to win. If you can prove me guilty, I will give up and die. I ask only two things of you, my God, and I will no longer hide from you. Stop punishing and terrifying me. Then speak, and I will reply, or else let me speak, and you reply. Please point out my sins, so I will know them. Why have you turned your back and counted me your enemy? Do you really enjoy frightening a fallen leaf? Why do you accuse me of horrible crimes and make me pay for sins I did in my youth? You have tied my feet down and kept me surrounded. I am rotting away like cloth eaten by worms. Life is so short and sorrowful for every living soul. We are flowers that fade and shadows that vanish. And so I ask you, God, why pick on me? There's no way a human can be completely pure. Our time on earth is brief. The number of our days is already decided by you. Why don't you leave us alone and let us find some happiness when we toil and labor? When a tree is chopped down, there is always the hope that it will sprout again. Its roots and stump may rot, but at the touch of water, fresh twigs shoot up. Got planes going overhead. Humans are different. We die, and that's the end. We are like streams and lakes after the water is gone. We fall into the sleep of death, never to rise again until the sky disappears. Please hide me, God, deep in the ground, and when you are angry no more, remember to rescue me. Will we humans live again? Job says. I would gladly suffer and wait for my time. My Creator, you would want me, you would call out, and I would answer, and you would take care of me, but not count my sins. You would put them in a bag, tie it tight, and toss them away. But in the real world, mountains tumble and rocks crumble, streams wear away stones and wash away soil, and you destroy our hopes. You change the way we look, then send us away, wiped out forever. We never live to know if our children are praised or disgraced. We feel no pain but our own, and when we mourn, it's only for ourselves. So, continuing on, the Lord replied back to Job. From out of the storm, the Lord said to Job, why do you talk so much, Job, when you know so little? Now get ready to face me. Can you answer the questions I ask? How did I lay the foundation for the earth? Were you there? Doubtless you know who decided its length and width. What supports the foundation? Who placed the cornerstone while morning stars sang and angels rejoiced? When the ocean was born, I set its boundaries and wrapped it in blankets of thickest fog. Then I built a wall around it and locked the gates. And I said, your powerful waves stop here. They can go no further. Did you ever tell the sun to rise, and did it obey you? Did it take hold of the earth and shake out the wicked like dust from a rug? Early dawn outlines the hills like stitches on clothing or sketches on clay. But the light is too much for those who are evil, and their power is broken. Job, have you ever walked on the ocean floor? Have you ever seen the gate in the world of the dead? And how large is the earth? Tell me if you know. Where is the home of light, and where does darkness live? Can you lead them home? I'm certain you must be able to, since you were already born when I created everything. Oh boy. Have you been to the places where I have snow and hail until I use them to punish and conquer nations? From where does lightning come or the east wind blow? Who carves out a path for thunderstorms? Who sends torrents of rain or empty deserts where no one lives? Can you arrange stars in groups such as Orion and the Pleiades? Do you control the stars or set in place the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper? Do you know the laws that governs the heavens, and can you make them rule the earth? Can you order the clouds to send a downpour, or will lightning flash at your command? Do you teach birds to know, that they know rain or floods are coming or on their way? Can you count the clouds or pour out their water or do on the dry, lumpy soil? Wow. When lions are hungry, do you help them hunt? Do you send an animal into their den? And when birds cry out to me for food, do you satisfy their hunger? When do mountain goats and deer give birth, Job? Have you been there when their young are born? How long are they pregnant before they deliver? Soon their young grow strong and then leave to be on their own. So the Lord speaks back to Job, and this goes on for a little while, and finally Job answers, and he said, "No one can oppose you, God, because you have the power to do what you want. You ask why I talk so much when I know so little. I have talked about things that are far beyond my understanding. You told me to listen and answer your questions. I heard about you from others, and now I have seen you with my own eyes. That's why I hate myself and sit here in dust and ashes to show my sorrow." Well, then the Lord said to Eliphaz, "What my servant Job has said about me is true, but I am angry at you and your two friends for not telling the truth. So I want you to go over to Job and offer 7 bulls and 7 goats on an altar as a sacrifice to please me. After this, Job will pray, and I will agree not to punish you for your foolishness." So his 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and so forth, did what the Lord commanded. So Job prayed for his 3 friends, and the Lord made Job twice as rich as he had before. Then Job gave a feast for his brothers, his sisters, and his old friends, and they expressed their sorrow for the suffering the Lord had brought on him, and they each gave Job some silver and a gold ring. The Lord now blessed Job more than ever. He gave him 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 pair of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. In addition to 7 sons, Job had 3 daughters whose names were Jeremiah, Keziah, and Karen, and they were the most beautiful women in that part of the world. And Job gave them shares to his property, along with their brothers. And Job lived for another 140 years, long enough to see his great-grandchildren have children of their own. And when he finally died, he was very old. So Job went through a terrible, terrible ordeal, through all his wealth being taken away, all his friends taken away, except for 3 that came and decided to tell him what he had done wrong, what kind of sins he must have committed in order for God to be punishing him this way. And then he was also covered from head to foot in sores. But in the end, God in his mercy and grace, answered Job and asked him questions. Can you answer these questions, Job? And of course, Job could not answer them, as like none of us could answer any one of those questions. But the Lord forgave Job, because Job never left the Lord. And he blessed him even more in the end, with more children, more wealth, more friends, his wife, all of the things, and health. And he lived a long time after. So if you're going through some terrible things in your life and you don't know why, and most of the time we don't know why, just know that God is on your side and he loves you, even though these things are happening, and he promises to be with you, that he'll never leave you nor forsake you. So call on the great creator, the one who created everything, who knows everything, knows why these things are happening to you, and can give you joy in the morning. Call on him. He's the only one that can answer and give you truth. And it's very easy. All you have to do is ask him to come into your life. Believe that his son, Jesus Christ, died on the cross for you, for your sins, and you will have eternal life and spend heaven or spend eternity with God. And that's what I want. I hope that's what you want. So thanks for listening. Hope you got something out of Job's story. And I know it gives me great peace sometimes when I read it and think, oh, my struggles aren't as bad as his were. And look what he went through. What am I complaining about? Anyways, have a great day, and God bless you, and take care of yourselves. Till next time.